The notification pinged at 11:47 p.m., right as I was elbow deep in the breaker box, rewiring the kitchen circuit that had been giving Kira trouble for weeks. The blue glow from her laptop screen caught my eye through the doorway, and I heard her voice drift into the garage, sweet as antifreeze, talking to her little influencer circle on their nightly Zoom gossip session. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. Honestly, Trent's so clueless he wouldn't notice if I disappeared for a month, she was saying, that fake laugh bubbling up like carbonation in a shaken bottle. The man thinks romance is fixing the garbage disposal. I should have kept working, should have pretended I didn't hear. But that text notification kept blinking on her screen, and from where I crouched behind the electrical panel, I could see just enough to make my pressure spike. Devin Cross. Room 237 has your name on it, beautiful. Can't wait to unwrap my early Christmas present. My wife of 6 years. My college sweetheart. The woman who'd cried when I proposed in this very garage, surrounded by half-finished projects and the smell of motor oil. He's like a golden retriever, Kira continued to her digital audience. Loyal, predictable, and completely oblivious when you're cheating on him. The wire strippers slipped in my hand, nearly taking off my thumb. Golden retriever. Right. Well, this golden retriever just learned a new trick. I finished the wiring in silence, listening to 20 more minutes of character assassination disguised as girl talk. Apparently, I was also emotionally unavailable, obsessed with boring guy stuff, and probably going to end up like my father. A dig that hit below the belt, considering Dad had passed alone in a nursing home last year. When Kira finally signed off with her fake sweet, "Love you, ladies," I was already planning. See, here's what my dear wife never understood about electricians. We're problem solvers by nature. We see a system, figure out how it works, then make it work better. And if something's broken beyond repair, well, sometimes you have to tear the whole thing down and start fresh. 3 days later, I was nursing a beer at Murphy's Tavern when my phone buzzed with a group text from Kira's inner circle. Apparently, they'd planned a surprise birthday dinner for her at Bella Court, the trendy downtown spot where appetizers cost more than I made in an hour. Sasha Martinez. Operation Birthday Surprise is a go. Remember, everyone act natural. We want this to look totally spontaneous when we spring the prank. Prank. That word made my jaw clench. I'd spent the last 72 hours doing some electrical work of my own, the kind that involved recovering deleted texts, checking cloud backups, and having a very enlightening conversation with my buddy Eli Rodriguez, who'd gone from beat cop to private security consultant after taking early retirement. "You sure you want to see this stuff?" Eli had asked, sliding a manila folder across the table. Sometimes ignorance really is bliss, brother. But I'd already seen enough. Hotel receipts, photos of Kira and Devin at restaurants I couldn't afford, text threads where she called me the backup plan and joked about keeping the lights on while she figured out her next move. The birthday dinner was tonight, and according to the group chat I'd been monitoring through Kira's conveniently synced iPad, they had something special planned. I showed up at Bella Court at 7 sharp, wearing the button-down shirt Kira had bought me last Christmas, back when she still pretended to care about my opinion on things. The hostess led me to their table, where Kira sat surrounded by her usual suspects. Sasha, the PR shark who'd never met a manipulation she didn't like, Jessica, the lifestyle blogger with more filters than personality, and Madison, whose main qualification for friendship seemed to be owning a luxury car and Daddy's credit card. "Trent!" Kira jumped up, all smiles and performance. "You made it!" "Wouldn't miss it," I said, settling into the chair they'd left for me, notably the one with its back to the restaurant's main dining area. Strategic positioning. These girls had been planning this like a military operation. Dinner proceeded normally for the first hour. Normal conversation, Normal whine, normal passive-aggressive comments about my work clothes and blue-collar charm. I played along, even laughed at their jokes about my simple lifestyle and adorable lack of social media presence. Then came dessert, and with it, the main event. "Trent," Kira said, her voice suddenly taking on that theatrical quality she used for her Instagram stories. "We need to talk." The table went quiet. Jessica had her phone out, discreetly, recording. Madison was practically vibrating with anticipation. Sasha wore the expression of someone about to watch a car crash in slow motion. "I've been doing some thinking," Kira continued, her voice getting louder. Other diners were starting to look. "About us, about our future, about what I really want in life." Here it comes, I thought. The prank. The public breakup that would humiliate me, give them content for their social media, and probably end up as a viral TikTok about how to dump your boring boyfriend. "I think we should break up," she announced, loud enough for half the restaurant to hear. "I'm sorry, Trent, but I'm just done. This isn't working anymore." The silence stretched. Jessica's phone was definitely recording now. Madison looked like she was about to burst from excitement. Sasha watched me with predatory interest, waiting for the breakdown, the begging, the public humiliation that would make this story worth telling. Instead, I reached for my wallet. "All right," I said, pulling out 3 20s and laying them on the table. "This should cover my share of dinner." I stood up, straightened my shirt, and looked down at my wife, soon-to-be ex-wife, with something that might have been a smile. "Thanks for the heads up, Kira. Really saves me the trouble of having this conversation myself." The look on her face was worth 6 years of marriage. Pure panic, like someone who just realized they'd grabbed the wrong wire and were about to get shocked. "Wait, what? Trent, have a great birthday," I said, loud enough for their little audience to hear. "And ladies, thanks for the entertainment. This has been illuminating." I walked out of Bellacourt with my head high and my dignity intact, leaving behind a table of influencers who'd just learned the difference between pranking someone and getting played. The real fun was just getting started. The next morning, I woke up in a Holiday Inn Express with a clarity I hadn't felt in years. No more pretending I didn't see the signs. No more making excuses for Kira's girls' nights that lasted until 3 a.m. No more being the golden retriever. My phone had been buzzing since sunrise. 17 missed calls from Kira, 43 text messages ranging from, "Baby, it was just a joke," to, "How could you embarrass me like that?" and a voice message that started with crying and ended with threats about taking me for everything I was worth. I deleted them all and called my lawyer instead. "Tom Brennan," came the gravelly voice of the man who'd handled my dad's estate. "Tom, it's Trent Mallory. I need a divorce attorney. Fast." "Jesus, Trent, what happened? Last time we talked, you were telling me how happy you were." "Last time we talked, I didn't know my wife was cheating on me with some wannabe influencer named Devin Cross." The line went quiet for a moment. "You got proof?" "Enough to wallpaper the courthouse. Can you handle it, or do I need someone who specializes in adultery cases?" "I can handle it. Come in this afternoon. Bring everything you've got." While I waited for the appointment, I decided to do a little more electrical work. The kind that involved forwarding certain text message screenshots to certain people who deserved to know what their boyfriends were really up to. Devin Cross, it turned out, had a girlfriend. Rachel Morrison, a kindergarten teacher who posted adorable pictures of her classroom and weekend hiking trips with her amazing boyfriend Devin. She seemed nice. The kind of person who deserved better than dating a cheating scumbag who referred to her as the ball and chain in his texts to my wife. I created a new email account and sent Rachel a simple message. "Thought you should know what your boyfriend does when you're not around." Attached were screenshots of Devin's most romantic exchanges with Kira, including the hotel room invitation and a particularly graphic description of what he wanted to do to her tight little body. Then I sat back and watched the fireworks. It took exactly 47 minutes for my phone to ring. "What the hell did you do?" Kira's voice was so shrill I had to hold the phone away from my ear. "I'm sorry. Who is this? My wife?" Because I could have sworn my wife broke up with me in front of half of downtown last night. "Trent, this isn't funny. Devin's girlfriend is going crazy. She's calling him every 5 minutes, screaming about cheating and lies and—" Sounds like a personal problem. Maybe he should have thought about that before he decided to play house with a married woman. "It was supposed to be a prank. We were going to tell you it was fake after you—" "After I what, Kira? Begged? Cried? Made a scene so you and your little mean girls club could laugh about it for the next 6 months?" The silence on the other end told me I'd hit the bullseye. "How long?" I asked quietly. "How long what?" "How long have you been screwing Devin Cross?" More silence. Then, in a voice so small I almost felt sorry for her. 4 months. 4 months. 4 months of coming home to her, making dinner, asking about her day, sleeping next to her while she planned her exit strategy. 4 months of being the backup plan. "Pack your stuff," I said. "I'll be by tonight to get mine. We can do this easy or we can do this hard. Your choice." "Trent, please. Can't we just—" I hung up. By evening, the group chat was in full meltdown mode. I knew this because Kira still hadn't figured out that her iPad was synced to her phone, and I still had access to the family iCloud account. Watching their panic in real time was better than cable TV. "Jessica, this is a disaster. My boyfriend saw the video of the restaurant thing and now he's asking questions about my girls' nights." Madison. "Wait, someone recorded it? It's online?" Sasha. "Of course someone recorded it, you idiot. This is 2024. Everything goes viral." Kira. "He sent Rachel everything. She's threatening to post it all on social media." Jessica. "What do you mean everything? What else is there?" Kira. "Screenshots of our conversations, about all of us." That got their attention. See, Kira hadn't just been sharing details about her affair with Devin. She'd been sharing details about all of their affairs, their relationship dramas, their financial problems, their family secrets, girls' night gossip that was never supposed to leave the group. But Devin, being the stand-up guy he was, had been screenshotting the juiciest bits to share with his buddies, and now Rachel had all of it. Madison. "What kind of stuff about us?" Kira. "Madison. She knows about you and your trainer." Jessica. "What?" Sasha. "This is why I told you all to keep your mouths shut about personal business." Madison. "My husband is going to ruin me." I poured myself a beer and kept reading. This was better than reality TV. When I finally went to the house to collect my things, I found Kira sitting at the kitchen table with red eyes and a bottle of wine that was more empty than full. "How could you do this to me?" she asked without looking up. "Do what? Tell the truth?" "Destroy my life. Destroy my friends' lives. We didn't mean for it to go this far." I set down the box I'd been filling with my tools and really looked at her. 6 years of marriage, and I was seeing her clearly for the first time. The entitlement, the self-pity, the complete inability to take responsibility for her own choices. "You destroyed your own life, Kira. I just stopped pretending I didn't notice. It was supposed to be a joke. Cheating on me for 4 months was a joke? Planning to humiliate me in public was a joke? Calling me your backup plan was a joke?" I shook my head. "You know what's funny? I actually thought about forgiving you, right up until I heard you laughing about how stupid I was." She looked up then, and for a moment, I saw something that might have been genuine remorse. But it was too little, too late. "What happens now?" she whispered. "Now? Now you get to explain to a judge why you deserve half of everything I've worked for while you were busy planning your exit strategy." I finished packing my tools and headed for the door. Behind me, I heard her start to cry, Real tears this time, not the crocodile tears she'd been using to manipulate me for months. "Trent?" she called as I reached the doorway. I turned back. "I did love you. Once." "I know," I said. "That's what makes this so much worse." The divorce papers were filed on Friday morning. By Friday afternoon, Kira's entire social media empire was crumbling like a house of cards in a hurricane. It started with Rachel Morrison, who turned out to have a backbone of steel under that sweet kindergarten teacher exterior. Instead of just dumping Devin quietly, she'd done some detective work of her own. Turns out, my wife's boyfriend had been running quite the operation. Multiple dating apps, multiple girlfriends, and a side business selling exclusive content from women who thought they were in committed relationships with him. Rachel didn't just expose him, she nuked him from orbit. The Instagram post went viral within hours. When you find out your boyfriend of 8 months has been cheating with a married woman and selling intimate photos of you to strangers online. She'd included screenshots of everything: Devin's conversations with Kira, his dating app profiles, his PayPal receipts from selling photos, and a few choice messages where he'd laughed about these stupid snakes who think I actually care about them. The comment section was terrible. Women started coming forward with their own Devin Cross stories. The hashtag Devin Cross is trash was trending by evening. But Rachel wasn't done. She'd also posted the screenshots of Kira's group chat messages, the ones where my dear wife had shared intimate details about all her friends' personal lives, their affairs, their financial problems, their family secrets. Jessica's husband found out about her yoga instructor. Madison's husband discovered her shopping addiction and secret credit cards. Even Sasha got caught in the crossfire when her own manipulative behavior was exposed for all to see. My phone rang at 8 p.m., Eli's name on the caller ID. "You see the news?" he asked without preamble. "Hard to miss. My phone's been buzzing all day with people wanting the inside scoop. Your wife's friends are not happy. Word is they're planning some kind of retaliation." "Let them come. I'm not the one who aired their dirty laundry. That was all Rachel Morrison, and good for her. Still, watch your back. Desperate people do stupid things." He was right to be concerned. The group chat, which I was still monitoring, had turned into a war room. "Sasha, this is all Trent's fault. If he hadn't sent those screenshots to Rachel, none of this would have happened." "Jessica, my marriage is over. Over. Because of him." "Madison, we need to do something. We can't just let him destroy all of us." "Kira, what are you suggesting?" "Sasha, I'm suggesting we fight back. He wants to play dirty? Fine. Let's show him what dirty really looks like." I screenshotted the conversation and forwarded it to my lawyer. If they wanted to escalate this, I'd be ready. The next morning, I woke up to find my truck keyed and my mailbox destroyed. Classy. I called the police to file a report, then installed security cameras around the Holiday Inn parking lot where I was staying. That afternoon, Sasha showed up at my job site. I was rewiring an office building downtown when she appeared, clicking across the construction site in heels that had no business being anywhere near a hard hat zone. "We need to talk," she announced, like she was doing me a favor. "No, we don't," I replied without looking up from the electrical panel I was working on. "You need to get off this construction site before you get hurt. This is a hard hat area. I'm not leaving until we settle this." I sighed and set down my wire strippers. Sasha Martinez had always been the ringleader of Kira's little crew. A PR consultant who specialized in crisis management, she was used to controlling narratives and manipulating outcomes. The problem was, she'd gotten used to dealing with people who cared about their public image. I wasn't one of those people. "Settle what, exactly?" "You know what? This vendetta you're on, it needs to stop." "Vendetta?" I laughed, pulling off my work gloves. "Lady, I haven't done anything except tell the truth. If the truth is destroying your lives, maybe you should have thought about that before you decided to make me the punchline of your little joke. It wasn't supposed to go this far. See, that's your problem right there. You thought you could control the outcome. You thought you could humiliate me, have your laugh, and then everything would go back to normal. But actions have consequences, Sasha, even for pretty girls with rich daddies. Her face flushed red. You don't know anything about me. I know enough. I know you've been pulling Kira's strings for months, filling her head with ideas about upgrading her life and trading up from her blue-collar husband. I know you were the one who suggested the restaurant prank. I know you've been feeding her lines about how she deserves better, how she's too good for a simple electrician. She does deserve better. Maybe. But she chose me. For 6 years she chose me, right up until you convinced her she could do better. Sasha stepped closer, lowering her voice. What's it going to take to make this stop? Money? We can pay you to keep quiet about the rest of it. The rest of what? Her eyes went wide, realizing she'd said too much. What else are you hiding, Sasha? Nothing. I just meant... You meant there's more. More secrets. More lies. More manipulation. I smiled, and it wasn't a nice smile. You know what? Don't tell me. I'm having way more fun figuring it out myself. She tried to salvage the situation. Look, we're all adults here. We can work this out like civilized people. Civilized people don't cheat on their spouses. Civilized people don't plan public humiliations for entertainment. Civilized people don't destroy other people's property when they don't get their way. I gestured toward the parking lot where my keyed truck was visible. So no, Sasha, we're not going to work this out like civilized people. We're going to work this out like the petty, vindictive children you've all chosen to be. You're making a mistake, she said, backing away. Probably, but it's my mistake to make. After she left, I called Eli. I need a favor, I said. Background check on Sasha Martinez. Something tells me our PR princess has some secrets of her own. Already on it, he replied. Had a feeling you'd ask. Give me 48 hours. While I waited for Eli's report, I decided to have a little fun with the group chat. They'd been planning their next move for days, and I was getting tired of playing defense. Time to go on the offensive. The Crane Ridge Community Center was hosting its annual Entrepreneur Spotlight event on Thursday night, a gathering of local business owners, social media influencers, and wannabe power players. According to the group chat, Kira and her crew were planning to attend as a show of solidarity to prove that the recent drama hadn't affected their standing in the community. They were also planning to corner me if I showed up, to have it out once and for all, as Madison had put it. I decided to give them what they wanted. Eli's background check on Sasha had been illuminating. Turns out our crisis management expert had been managing quite a few crises of her own. 3 previous businesses that had folded under mysterious circumstances. A pattern of befriending successful women, gaining their trust, then somehow ending up with their clients, their contacts, and their money. 2 restraining orders from former business partners who accused her of harassment and financial manipulation. Most interesting of all, Sasha Martinez wasn't her real name. She'd legally changed it from Sarah Kowalski 5 years ago, right around the time her last business partnership had imploded in a spectacular lawsuit. But the real bombshell was what Eli had discovered about her connection to Kira. They hadn't met randomly at a networking event, as Kira had always claimed. Sasha had specifically targeted her, researching her social media presence, her marriage, her insecurities, and then engineering their chance meeting. The question was why? What did Sasha want with my wife? I got my answer Thursday evening at the community center. I arrived fashionably late, wearing my best jeans and a button-down shirt that actually fit properly. The event was in full swing, local business owners mingling with wine and cheese, everyone trying to out-network each other. I spotted Kira's group immediately. They'd claimed a table near the back, positioned strategically so they could see everyone who entered. Kira looked nervous, constantly checking her phone and scanning the room. Jessica and Madison flanked her like bodyguards, while Sasha held court at the head of the table, playing the role of confident leader. I grabbed a beer from the bar and made my way over. "Ladies," I said, pulling up an empty chair, Mind if I join you? The silence was deafening. Kira went pale. Jessica and Madison looked like they wanted to run, but Sasha just smiled, a cold, calculating expression that didn't reach her eyes. Trent, how unexpected. Is it? I got the impression you wanted to talk. All of you. I took a sip of my beer and looked around the table. So let's talk. This isn't the place, Kira said quietly. Sure it is. Public place, lots of witnesses, plenty of people with cameras. Seems perfect for your group considering how much you love an audience. Madison leaned forward. You've done enough damage. Just leave us alone. Damage? What damage have I done exactly? I haven't posted anything on social media. I haven't spread any rumors. I haven't destroyed anyone's property. I looked pointedly at each of them. Can you say the same? We don't know what you're talking about, Jessica said, but her voice shook. My truck says otherwise. The police report says otherwise. The security footage says otherwise. That got their attention. They'd been careful to avoid the cameras at the hotel, but apparently not careful enough. You're bluffing, Sasha said. Am I? I pulled out my phone and showed them a screenshot of the footage, Madison's distinctive red BMW pulling into the hotel parking lot at 2 a.m., her getting out with something in her hand. Want to see the rest? The part where you key my truck and smash my mailbox? Madison's face crumpled. It was just, we were angry. Angry enough to commit vandalism, angry enough to destroy someone else's property, but not angry enough to take responsibility for your own choices. What do you want? Sasha asked, cutting straight to the point. I want the truth, all of it, starting with why you really targeted my wife. Kira looked confused. Targeted? What's he talking about? I smiled and pulled out the folder Eli had given me. Why don't you tell her, Sarah? The color drained from Sasha's face. I don't know what you mean. Sarah Kowalski, 3 failed businesses, 2 restraining orders, a pattern of befriending successful women and destroying their lives from the inside. I opened the folder and spread the documents across the table. You didn't meet Kira by accident. You researched her, studied her, figured out exactly how to manipulate her into destroying her own marriage. Kira was staring at the papers, her mouth open. Sasha? What is this? It's nothing. He's making it up. Bank records don't lie, Sarah. Neither do court documents. Neither do the 3 women who filed complaints against you for fraud and emotional manipulation. I turned to Kira. Did you know your best friend has been skimming money from your joint business ventures? The sponsored posts, the affiliate marketing, the brand partnerships. She's been taking a cut off the top and hiding it in accounts you don't know about. That's not true. Sasha stood up, knocking over her wine glass. $23,000 over the past year, I continued, reading from the financial records Eli had uncovered. Money that should have been split between you and your friends here. Money she's been stealing while convincing you to destroy your marriage so she could have complete control over your social media empire. The table erupted. Jessica and Madison started shouting questions. Kira was demanding answers. Sasha was denying everything, but her panic was obvious. And then, in the middle of the chaos, Kira turned to me with tears in her eyes. How long have you known? About the money? 2 days? About her real identity? 3 days? About her targeting you specifically? I shrugged. I had my suspicions from the beginning. Nobody just happens to show up in someone's life with all the right answers and all the right advice, especially not advice designed to destroy a marriage. But why? Why would she do this? I looked at Sasha, who was gathering her purse and preparing to flee. Why don't you ask her? But Sasha was already walking away, pushing through the crowd toward the exit. Madison and Jessica were right behind her, abandoning Kira at the table. My wife, soon-to-be ex-wife, sat alone, staring at the evidence of her best friend's betrayal. I'm sorry, she whispered. I know you are. I thought she was helping me. I thought she was my friend. She was using you, all of you. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Kira looked up at me, and for a moment, I saw the woman I'd fallen in love with 7 years ago. Before the social media obsession, before the status anxiety, before Sasha Martinez or Sarah Kowalski had poisoned her mind with dreams of a better life. I don't know, she said. I don't know how to fix any of this. You start by telling the truth. All of it. To everyone. She nodded, wiping her eyes. Will that be enough? I don't know, I said honestly. But it's a start. I left her there with the evidence of her friend's betrayal, the ruins of her social circle, and the consequences of her choices. I'd done what I set out to do, exposed the truth, protected myself legally, and made sure the people who'd tried to destroy me faced the consequences of their actions. But I wasn't done yet. There was still one more person who needed to learn that actions have consequences. Devin Cross was about to get a lesson in electrical engineering he'd never forget. The abandoned textile factory on the outskirts of Craneridge had been closed for 15 years, but the electrical infrastructure was still intact. I knew this because I'd worked on the building's security system back when the city was trying to sell it to developers. It was the perfect place for what I had planned. According to his social media posts, which he'd stupidly left public despite the recent drama, Devin Cross was hosting an exclusive brand event there Saturday night. Some kind of underground party for influencers and entrepreneurs only. The kind of pretentious garbage that made my teeth ache. What Devin didn't know was that I still had access to the building's electrical systems, and I'd spent the past 2 days making some very specific modifications. I arrived at the factory at sunset, parking my truck behind the loading dock where it wouldn't be visible from the main entrance. The party was already in full swing, music thumping, lights flashing, dozens of 20-somethings with phones and cameras documenting every moment of their exclusive experience. Devin had really gone all out. Professional lighting, a DJ booth, a bar setup that probably cost more than I made in a month. All of it powered by the building's main electrical grid, the same grid I'd been rewiring all week. I made my way to the electrical room in the basement, avoiding the partygoers who were too busy taking selfies to notice one more guy in work clothes. The main breaker panel was exactly where I'd left it, along with the modifications I'd made to the lighting circuits. At exactly 9 p.m., I flipped the first switch. Every light in the main party area went out simultaneously, plunging the room into complete darkness. The music stopped. The crowd started screaming. Emergency lighting kicked in 30 seconds later, just long enough for panic to set in, but not long enough for anyone to get seriously hurt. I'm not a monster. But the emergency lights weren't connected to the normal electrical system. They were connected to a secondary circuit I'd installed specifically for this moment. And instead of the usual white emergency bulbs, I'd replaced them with colored lights that spelled out a very specific message across the factory walls. Devin Cross is a cheating scumbag. The crowd went wild. Phones came out immediately, everyone filming and posting and live streaming the spectacle. Within minutes, the Devin Cross Exposed was trending on 3 different platforms. But I wasn't done. The second switch activated the sound system I'd rigged to the building's old intercom network. Instead of Devin's carefully curated playlist, the speakers now broadcast a very different kind of audio. Recordings of his phone conversations with Kira, his voice messages to other women, his explicit descriptions of what he wanted to do to these stupid snakes who thought he actually cared about them. His own words, in his own voice, broadcast to a room full of his peers and potential business partners. The crowd turned ugly fast. Women started shouting, men started pushing. Someone threw a drink at Devin, who was frantically trying to shut down the sound system. That's when I flipped the third switch. The lights came back on, all of them at maximum brightness. But they were connected to a strobe effect I'd programmed to flash in a specific pattern. 3 short flashes, 3 long flashes, 3 short flashes. SOS in Morse code, the international distress signal. Because Devin Cross was definitely in distress. Security cameras throughout the building, cameras I'd reactivated and redirected to stream live on social media, captured everything. The panic, the anger, the complete breakdown of Devin's carefully constructed image. By the time he found the electrical room in the basement, I was long gone. But I'd left him a present, a framed photo of Rachel Morrison with a note that read, "Next time, pick on someone your own size." The party ended with police cars and ambulances. No one was seriously hurt, but several people were treated for panic attacks and minor injuries from the stampede toward the exits. Devin was arrested for hosting an illegal gathering in a condemned building, and his brand management business was finished. The videos went viral within hours. Devin Cross exposed became Devin Cross destroyed, and then Devin Cross disaster. By Sunday morning, he was a national laughingstock. Rachel Morrison posted a thank you message on Instagram. "To the person who gave Devin exactly what he deserved, thank you. Justice served with a side of electrical engineering. Brilliant." But the best part wasn't the viral videos or the social media destruction or even the criminal charges Devin was facing. The best part was the phone call I got Sunday evening. "Trent?" Kira's voice was small, uncertain. "What do you want, Kira?" "I saw the news. About Devin. About what happened at the factory." "And?" "I know it was you." I didn't confirm or deny it. Let her think what she wanted to think. "I deserved it," she said quietly. "All of it. What I did to you, what I did to our marriage. I deserved everything that happened." "Yes, you did." I filed a complaint against Sasha, with the police, with the Better Business Bureau, with everyone I could think of. She's been stealing from all of us, manipulating all of us. You were right about everything. "I usually am. Is there any chance, any possibility that we could try again? Start over?" I looked around my new apartment, a one-bedroom place downtown that was small but clean and entirely mine. No more walking on eggshells. No more pretending I didn't see the signs. No more being anyone's backup plan. "No, Kira, there's not." "I understand," she whispered. I had to ask. "The divorce will be final in 6 weeks. My lawyer will send you the papers." "Okay. And Kira? Yeah? Next time you want to prank someone, make sure you're not married to an electrician. We know how to make things very complicated very quickly." She laughed despite herself, a sound I hadn't heard in years. "I'll remember that." After I hung up, I poured myself a beer and sat on my balcony, looking out over the city lights. Somewhere out there, Devin Cross was probably trying to figure out how to rebuild his reputation. Sasha Martinez, or Sarah Kowalski, was probably looking for her next victim. Jessica and Madison were probably dealing with the consequences of their own exposed secrets. And Kira was probably sitting in our old house, finally understanding what she'd thrown away. But that wasn't my problem anymore. I'd rewired my entire life, stripped out the faulty connections, and started fresh. Clean circuits, reliable power, no more shorts or surges. For the first time in years, everything was working exactly the way it was supposed to. My phone buzzed with a text from Eli. "Saw the news about the factory? Nice work. Drinks tomorrow?" I texted back, "Absolutely. I've got some stories to tell." Outside my window, the city hummed with electricity, power flowing through thousands of circuits, lighting up millions of lives, connecting people and places and possibilities. I was part of that network now, but on my own terms. No more being taken for granted. No more being the backup plan. No more being anyone's golden retriever. I was Trent Mallory, master electrician, and I'd just rewired my entire world.